Waka, what's up, and welcome back to the channel for yet another FC Finch third-party Transformers review. And today on the table, we have Fans Toys FT-30D Viper. The D designation, of course, meaning that he is the fourth installment in their Ethereon set, which is their take on a masterpiece Superion, the combined form of all the aerial bots. This, of course, is their masterpiece take on an aerial bot, Fireflight. Now, I was not collecting during the first three installments, so I do have the reissues on pre-order right now, but they will not arrive until later this year. So I will not be having my Ethereon review until much later this year, well beyond July, when I believe the last component is supposed to come out. So we are currently on the same page now with Viper, so we are going to be taking a look at him. I did do a formal unboxing on this guy. I'll put a link in the description to that down below, so I'm not going to go through everything on the box. I'm probably just going to look at the main page, and that's going to be about it, and we're going to get right into the robot. But of course, we have a very nice animation on the front of Mr. Viper. He is FT-30D by Fans Toys, made in China. Really good. You have him in robot mode, in his McDonald Douglas F4 Phantom mode. Got Fans Toys on the side, and then of course you have the description with all the shots, him with all his buddies, and there we go right there. And then of course Fans Toys on the side. You'll never forget what company produced this. So that's pretty much all we're going to talk about with the box. You could look at the unboxing if you feel so inclined. We're going to get right into the robot. And the first thing I noticed with this robot, and forgive me because this is my first one, is this guy's tall. This guy is like pretty much almost 11 inches to the top of his little plain nose backpack. This guy about like to the head height is roughly as tall as MP44, and I've been following the social media pages. His buddies are taller than him, so call me a newbie all you want. I'm just shocked like how the size of this guy is just mind-boggling to me. But either way, we'll get in on his head sculpt. It is a very good head sculpt, very void of detail for the most part. You know, he was an aerial bot, so you know they didn't really get crazy with the animation, but he does have a very nice mouth, and the eyes are done in a nice blue. The helmet, and in fact the arms, and most of the white is done that pearlescent white, which I do really love when Fans Toys does that. It just takes more uninteresting parts of his body and just kind of adds that little extra flair. I think that is hot. You got it on his upper thighs here. Same thing with all over his arms. They just look really, really good. The rest of him is coated in this very nice paint. Now, there are different coats of paint, like the belly looks to be a slightly different coat than up here. It's a more rich coat on his chest area. But other than that, you got some red detailing and some vent detailing on his chest. But overall, very G1 undetailed. Got some blue right here. Looking good. I believe these clear plastic pieces will be switched out for a clear blue, but I don't mind the way this looks. You got some molded detail under there. It does look very good. You got some silver right here. The legs are mostly white on the front with that pearlescent on the foot. Then you got some venting detail, and you got pieces of the wings. I mean, if we move to the back, it's pretty much his backpack. All the aerial bots, most of them were carrying the half of the plane on their back, but this does look very good. This detailing we'll get more into in the plane, but it does look, it's painted really nice. It looks good. And overall, he's a very clean robot. I mean, you know, any kibble is all kibble from the show. He does have a few screw holes, but mostly everything is hidden, even the insides of the leg. And this is good, a pattern in here. You can see a lot of the metal construction on this robot. There is a lot of metal joints in here that just make him all kinds of sturdy. But overall, that's our pretty much overview. We'll get into the articulation and his head. So can it look up just a little bit? It can look just very slightly down, and it can go side to side just like that. The arms, you can go all the way around. They move very nice and smooth. They go all the way out to the side just like that, and they just have a bicep swivel. He does have a singular elbow joint. He gets him a full 90. Can't really get that, yeah. And then of course he does have a thumb on a ball joint. I believe this is an older design, so it does have older design hands, but feel free to correct me in the comments. He does have a base hinge on the knuckle, and of course a secondary hinge at the fingers, but not like really the newer molded fingers most Fans Toys, or most newer Fans Toys have. He does have a waist swivel, but it works a bit differently. This piece inside, I'm not sure how well you can see that piece inside there kind of moves. He does get you a little bit of a swivel, not too much, but more than you'll need. These panels do come out just like this. You can get you a very nice fusion kick on a clickety-clackety ratchet. I can't really get you a fusion back kick due to here, and of course his jet backpack, but he can get you about that far. And then of course a little bit out to the side, not quite a fusion kick. He can bring the leg out, and he can get you a full 90-degree bend at the knee on a clickety-clackety ratchet. And of course the toe can tilt down. It can actually go all the way in due to transformation. And of course you got a little bit of ankle tilt right there. And that's pretty much it for his articulation. Not a crazy amount, but more than you'll ever need to get a variety of still very cool poses with this guy. We'll move on to his accessories. He does come with a couple of those. The first being his double-barreled gun. It is painted in a very nice gun metal. It has quite a bit of molded detail in here because you got the sights molded in. You got like the little bolt head, looks like bolt action molded in. Of course, the ribs on the magazines molded. It has some little indents here on the handle as well, and it does tab in the typical style of tabbing in. You want to curve the fingers just a bit so they don't get caught up around the magazine. And the tab only holds so well. It's mostly relying on his fist, similar to other fans toys of this era, especially the Dinobots. So, but he still will hold that relatively well. And additionally, this can of course split directly in half, more for flight mode, but it can be used in robot mode. You can just tab one half into his one hand, and the other side he just has to hold on by the magazine. There is actually no clip on this side, no actual handle on this side, but he will still nevertheless hold both of them firmly, so he can deal out his own sense of justice against the Decepticons. Additionally, he does come with one additional face, and it's just kind of a confused Pikachu face. You can see it's painted very similarly to the his actual face on here. I don't ever think this guy had a different toy face, but I kind of just slip a smudger right under there, and it just kind of comes right off, and you can see it's got two little ports right under there, and his face just has these two little ports on the back, and you can just slide that in, and you could have this one. This face doesn't like to hold on as well as the other ones, but as well as a stock one, excuse me. But it is a very nice looking face. You can see what that looks like. And that is pretty much it for all the accessories he comes with. No flight stand yet, but just wait until July. Fans Toys has not let our calls go unanswered, or my calls go unanswered. And for a couple quick comparisons, we'll get him in here with a few Takara bots. Unfortunately, I don't have his Fans Toys brothers, but that will come later on in the year. But we'll bring in MP44 and of course a standard Carbot in the form of MP Prowl. And yeah, you can even see like MP44 is posed, granted, but this guy's like right up there with him. I mean, he is one tall dude. I kid you not, he pretty much is double the size of Prowl almost. So there we go for a few Autobot comparisons. And of course, we'll bring in a Jet comparison. Since Jet's got to stick with Jets, we'll bring in our Takara Tomy Starscream 2.0. You can see, even though Starscream is posed, he is still taller than Starscream, just slightly. It's a matter of, hey, who you picking on, Pug? And remember, this is the little guy in the set, so all of the aerial bots are probably going to be taller than the Takara 2.0 Seekers. So there you go for a quick comparison. All right, it is that time to get Mr. Viper transforming up into his alternate mode, is F4 Phantom mode, and overall this transformation is pretty fun and enjoyable, so we're just going to get right into it. So the first thing we want to do, make sure his hands are in fists. We're going to turn his head around. His face may fall off. I'm not going to go back and get it. If it does, I'll just do it off camera, but either way, what we're going to do is you're going to open up this panel on the bottom of his hand. You're going to flip the hand in just like that, and then what you want to do is similarly to Phantasm or Fans Toys Mirage, you have this panel right here that opens up on the shoulder. You're going to open that up, and you're just going to kind of accordion the arm in just like this. You can see this tab is moved up here, and you got this slot right here, and you're basically just switch slots from here to here. You have this little flap right here, and you notice that you have a little slot. Just kind of want to line this up, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of collapse the arm in just like that. It's going to be the same thing on the other side, but I'm going to do the little chest insertion first. I'll do the other arm off camera. So what you want to do is you want to open up these locks on his side right here. Same thing with right here, and you're just going to flip his whole chest up. A la sound even tapes inside, but either way, and you're just going to bring this down on these metal hinges. There's more of that metal construction. I just want to point this out real quick. Check this out. You have a swivel here. This is the elbow swivel for the Ethereon combiner, and of course this is the elbow joint, and you can see it's got some molded detail in there for when the elbow joint is articulated in the combined mode. We don't have the instructions for combined mode yet, but either way, just something I kind of wanted to share. But either way, make sure this is all down, make sure this is all collapsed, and what you want to do is you have this piece right here. You're gonna bring the arm down, you're gonna pull it out, you're gonna rotate it this way like this, and then you're going to pull it out like this. So pulling it out just a little bit to sides, it only comes out in little increments. Then you're going to bring it in, and then you're going to push it back in just like that. That's going to fit inside the chest just like that. We're going to do the same thing with this other arm. I'm going to do it off camera and we'll be right back. So now he sort of looks like this with his arms kind of like get in my belly pose. And of course, we can bring the chest piece back down. Now remember, this tab is going to come down here and want to go needs to go in a slot down here. So you just kind of want to press everything together. And that's really going to kind of keep this all as one cohesive piece. And then you can lock it up just like you did previously, just like that. There we go. Didn't want to go in. And real quick, while we're down here, we could take, of course, his little side covers and move these up. Just kind of put these up over here. And then what we want to do is now we can come back here. We can unlock the front of the fuselage or the cockpit area of the jet. And Bruce trying to bring these locks down, and that will help the front end tab on here. Now, the back end operates on a whole system of hinges. We'll get to that in a bit. But the front end, it has two hinges, a hinge here and a hinge here. You're just going to bring that up and over. And you got some tabs right here. They're going to tab right in up here just like that. You kind of lock him in just like that. And that's basically the front end of the jet secured. Next thing, the last thing that we're going to do for this step is you gotta want to bring these. You got to bring them down on here. Get on Lisa's tab. They got a double hinge. So we're going to bring these out. Same thing with the other side. Just bring it out. And then what you want to do is you want to kind of want to activate this whole hinge system. It is kind of, you gotta kind of pull it out of the back end. And you're just gonna kind of bring this down just like this and seat this under here just like that. And then you can kind of bring this in and close these sections up just like previously, just like that. We're just trying to make sure that we get the tail fully extended because I'm gonna change my view on the camera. And there we go, and just close that up just like that. And now I'm going to switch the camera angle down and we can work on the legs. So now we can focus on the legs. And what we're going to do is we're going to unpeg the pelvis. It just pegs into two little spots right here. We just want to keep this out of our way for now. And then what we're going to do is we are going to open up. We'll start exploding the leg real quick. We can, of course, I'll push the toe in first just like that. And we'll start exploding legs so we can pull out this panel right here. Just tabs in right along here. And then we can come to the inside. I'm going to spread the leg out. We can open this panel right here. And then the last thing we want to do is we have a little lock right here on the knee, and we just kind of want to unlock that, and that will enable us to kind of bring this out on this double hinge and just start pushing the upper leg into the lower one. And again, you want to bring the pelvis up, leave it up on him just like that. And then we kind of bring the pelvis down. So what we're going to do is you can kind of unlock this tab right here. And what this is a little locking mechanism. You can see it's got a little slot right down here. And what this is going to enable us to do is you can actually push this in just like this, and then you can actually close this locking mechanism. This is a bit tight, so I had to preemptively open it with a spudger. And then what we're going to do is we're going to close this little panel right along here, just like this. And you can kind of start inserting this in, because what we want to do is you want to take the tail fin of the plane and just kind of bring this back, and you kind of want to just kind of make sure this is sitting on top. You'll notice you got a little tab right here. It's going to go into a little slot right on the little plane, and then same thing for right here. You just want to kind of make sure that this is under these two tabs, just like this. So you kind of want to snake it in there just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on this leg. I'm going to do that off camera, and then we'll be right back. So now we have this going on. We basically start closing all of this up. It just tabs in right along the top of the fuselage. It'll have a tab that goes into this part of the spine that kind of brings down the back of the plane. So I'll just kind of make sure this is all squeezed together. And then what we can do is real quick, we can make sure that the engines are all sorted. You just kind of want to bring the engines in. They got this tab right here, and it's going to go into a little tab slot that's right on the back of the fuselage. Same thing for the other side. Just kind of bring that in and kind of push, squeeze everything together. And you got these little two panels right here that kind of tab in together just like this. And then what we can do is kind of bring this down right here and just kind of want to move up the panels real quick, and you kind of want to bring this in on this hinge right here, and then you will tab in right along here and just kind of keep everything nice and cohesive. Then you can close up these panels, and that'll be basically everything for the bottom of the fuselage. And then what we can do is we can kind of bring this down just like this, and we can start closing this up on either side. Then you can kind of bring this in, and that will kind of lock in and just kind of make everything nice and cohesive. It's going to be the same thing on this side. I'll get that locked in and we'll move on. So we are on the last steps here, and that mostly has to do with the wings. So we're just going to unfold this piece here. You notice we got a tab right here. It's going to go into a slot right on here. And then we have a slot right here that's going to go into a tab here. So we can bring this up just like this, and we can start bringing it down. Kind of want to hold everything on the fuselage in just like this. And once these tabs line up, you can just push it in on both sides. Just got to give it a nice good push so both tabs get in there nice and good. And then of course you can unfold the wingtip. You can bring it out all the way or kind of leave it curved. I kind of leave it curved since that's what the McDonnell Douglas have. Same thing for the other side. Just kind of unfold the forward wingtip just like this. You kind of want to hold in as you bring it up. Just hold in the side panels as you rotate it down just like this, and line up all these little tabs and whatnot. And then you're just going to kind of push in the wings just like that. And then you can unfold the tip just like this. And then of course we can unfold these two back tail wings just like this. And real quick, one last step, we do have some landing gear down here, and we can just take a spudger. It is kind of a tight fit. You can kind of bring it down on this side. Same thing for this piece right here. And we can just kind of get this in there and bring this out just like this. And the front, we can kind of access the front panel here and just kind of open this up, bring this out, and bring this out just like this. And like magic, get my spudger out of the way, there we have FT-30D Viper in his airplane mode. And let's get eyes on that beautiful jet mode, that gorgeous McDonnell Douglas F4 Phantom II. And it looks great. Again, the fuselage just looks like one cohesive piece. Looks incredibly good. You've got some hinge detail showing through, but again, it's not really all that intrusive. It looks really good, especially with the darker paint. Kind of makes everything meld together really well. You got some nice panel lining detail. If we move in close real quick, you got all over the nose, all over the back of the fuselage, moving to the wing tips at the back as well. Again, that gorgeous metallic red candy paint. You got some gunmetal at the nose tip right there. The cockpit done in a smoked out black clear plastic. Cockpit does open up, by the way, and it does reveal a seat right back there, and it does reveal the little console at the front, which looks really good, just painted out in red. You got some venting detail in the intakes right there. Nice stripe of silver paint right here at the front of the aircraft. And then if we move on to the wings, you got more panel lining detail on the wings. You got that nice blue. It's almost like a matte blue and yellow. It really does look like a decal, but it's not. It's paint. It looks really good. It's on both wings. And again, no working ailerons, but I'm not mad about it. You can, of course, adjust the wingtips however you want. I, of course, leave them just like this, and the hinge is kind of flat right there since they are supposed to be tilted just a little bit. Tilt that one as well. Moving back to the engines as well, you got some flutes on the engines. Got some nice engine detail, and the engines do articulate a little bit just like that. And then, of course, if you flip it over, you can see, I mean, it's a jet former, so it's got robot down there. Who knew? You can see the head right here. But other than that, I mean, if you're looking at this thing, you're never going to look at it like this, and I think it pulls off the illusion well enough that it looks good. Of course, it does have the landing gear. It will roll, just not on my table, but it'll kind of slide a little bit. So there we go for that. And of course, if you want to incorporate its accessories, you just kind of pull the gun apart, and you notice you got the two pegs right on here. And what you can do is you just kind of turn this over just like this, and you'll just peg the gun in just like that. Same thing for the other one. You just bring it over, and you're just gonna peg it in just like that. And down here it looks intrusive, but up here, this is the best way I like my gun storage in vehicle, but it looks like part of the aircraft, and that looks absolutely too cool. It looks like it's got the guns on there, pew pew pew. And yeah, no, I absolutely, if you gotta incorporate the guns, this is how I prefer that you incorporate the guns, and that looks really good. I'll actually, if I display this in vehicle mode, I will display it with the guns. Real quick, for a couple quick vehicular comparisons, we'll bring it in there with a standard car bod, and I guess the scale kind of works for me. I guess I'll kind of accept this. We can see how that looks with Mr. MP18 Streak, but of course we can bring in another jet mod. We can bring in Thundercracker of the Takara 2.0 mold, F15 versus F4. And again, I'm not too sure about jet sizes, but overall I think this looks pretty good to me. So there we go for his jet mode. He does not come with a flight stand yet, but again, if you have been watching Fans Toys little showings, the combined mode will have a mode where it turns into flight stands for all of them. So luckily, Fans Toys has not left us out on that one. This will get a flight stand, and that's pretty much it for the vehicle mode. So let's summarize on the Fans Toys FT-30D Viper, the 4th installment into the Ethereum set. And as far as my first goes, this guy absolutely blows me away. His size is just phenomenal, and it fills me with all kinds of expectations for the rest of the set. I'm just absolutely blown away. He has a shelf presence for sure, I will say that. As far as the rest of the figure goes, some may consider the articulation a weak point of the figure. I'm okay with it. For the amount of poses that'll have this guy in, this works well enough for me, and he looks good doing it. Paint and build are phenomenal as usual. Lots of metal parts used, and the gem mode is just absolutely superb, and the road to get there is fun and intuitive. It looks really good. It transforms really good. It's overall just a really fun figure. As far as accessories, it comes with just what it needs, and I can't wait to have the flight stand later this July. But that being said, that's going to conclude this review. If you want one of your own, you can check out the Chosen Prime. I'll put a link in the description down below. It wasn't stocked when I last checked this morning, but you can give them a check out. And of course, if you want to check out some of my other Fans Toys reviews, this guy will be in a playlist all of his own, but I'll put my link to my Fans Toys playlist so you can look at that, check out some of my other videos. And you guys know what to do. If you found this video fun and informative, let me know by hitting that like button down below. I greatly appreciate it. It helps me out. Also, if you are not yet subscribed, consider subscribing to my channel. I do third-party Transformers reviews. I do official Transformers reviews. I do mostly Masterpiece, but sometimes non-Masterpiece reviews. So you'll want to check that out as well. That being said, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. I have been FC Finch. Good night!